Welcome to another edition of the Dementia Care Partner Talk Show. Now, here's dementia care expert Teepa Snow and your host, Greg Phelps.
Hello and welcome to the Dementia Care Partners podcast. I'm your host, Greg Phelps, along with Teepa Snow. And Teepa, a few weeks back, we did a podcast on just a few of the many studies into dementia, Alzheimer's, brain change, all that released over the summer. I don't want to make this overly complicated, but here's another study. Alzheimer's might not actually be a brain disease, expert says. And then the one that followed that up is years of Alzheimer research now based on a key finding. Investigation alleges it was faked and the work may have been wasted. So, you can see we're talking via Zoom. The listeners can't see us, but I've got a handful of papers here.
You got a
and I'm
sheaf
just
of
going to throw
papers,
them
eh?
on the floor. How does the average person, mom's been diagnosed with dementia, there's all this stuff out there, and you don't know whether you're getting horse pucky or oatmeal.
Yeah. And what was really disappointing is that what we've relied on historically are evidence-based publications. And it turns out some of those might have been faked for like 30 years now. And so like a lot of the preliminary research that we thought we were working from was inaccurate. And it's been duplicated and fostered as truth. And therefore, people were frustrated that their studies didn't support that, or they were trying to make it fit. And this whole idea of beta amyloid and the process by which dementia starts might be based on a fallacy. And so, people are now going back and going, okay, well, now let's back up and let's look again. The frustrating thing, I think, for many of us is we've had doubts. Many of us had doubts for quite some time. Back in the day, it was the Taoist and the Alpha Betists, and there was this battle going on, and then there was another battle going on, and then there's the battle of to treat or not to treat on these plaques, and and then the vaccines, but that caused problems, and it's like, well, wonder why that's happening. And people were so committed to moving forward that they didn't actually go back and look again. And it's hard to do it because actually they've even set it up so the reviewers can't look at the original data. They have to look at the data that the author presents, which means if there's a creation process between, they put it in the article, you don't go back to the original data and look at the original data. You only look at what's presented in the article, which was really a surprise to many of us who thought, wait, what? Which was a uh-oh. That to me is a big uh-oh.
Well, here's an uh-oh for you. We've spent hundreds of millions of dollars going down all of these blind alleys. Okay, so maybe we had to prove they were blind alleys. Maybe that's the lesson in this. But I don't feel that we're much further ahead than we were 10, 15, 20 years ago on the scientific side. Now, on the care side, which is your specialty, we're miles ahead. But the part where everybody is pinning their hopes for the future, I think has just been shattered.
Yeah. And, Greg, I'd love to disagree with you, but frankly, I'm concerned that because we've had this focus so tight and so I've been to meetings where it's acrimonious. Talk about youch. People won't speak to each other. People believe the other person is like, da, 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 da. It's like a lot of different things out there in the world. And it's like, hey guys, do you remember why and who we're doing this for? I'm just, and I know that on occasion I've had an opportunity to present at some of these conferences, and I am definitely an outlier, but I'm also helpful, I think, in some ways to get people to appreciate it's really important. I get it, it's important, but until you guys figure stuff out, we've got to take care of people better than we're doing it. And so what do you have that would help me do a better job? And could you quit just throwing drugs at people as a possibility? And let's look at what we know about the chemistry of the brain and how we could use that chemistry proactively in the work that we do by knowing our own brains and starting to be curious about ourselves and those around us. And maybe not a quick fix, but maybe the hard work is what we really need to put energy into.
So the hard work, I think I've heard you say this, and I might
Mm,
be paraphrasing this incorrectly. Until there's a cure, there's
mm.
care, or did I do it backwards? I'm never quite sure.
No, you
Mildly
got it.
dyslexic. So
No, I mean, until they come up with some kind of cure, the reality is people are going to continue to develop these brain changes. And, yes, we can reduce risk. I do believe there are things we can do to reduce risk. I think there is enough research out there that supported that how we live our lives does matter. And how we age does matter. And whether or not we stay engaged in new learning and neurodiverse ways of using our brains, it matters. I mean, so doing things that are creative and interesting with your brain does matter. And that's true whether you live with dementia or you don't live with dementia, because it turns out brains are brains and brains are really curious things. Just because this part of your brain can't do something doesn't mean another part can. It's really just so we're so fixated on the, oh, my brain is dying. It's like, well, what parts are working? I mean, that's what we got. I mean, what do you got we can work with? Because otherwise, yeah, it's sort of a dead end street. And it's like, well, that's just a deep, dark space. Let's look on the other side, huh?
by the time we get to an age where we start paying closer
Mm,
attention to this,
mhm.
I won't say we're beyond hope, but I mean, everything that we're told
Yeah.
that does seem to work should have been started earlier. Healthy living, healthy eating, mind exercises, all of those things. So it's not too late, but to the people who are just listening and taking care as care partners, maybe you should start doing some of this so that you're not going to,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that's part of the message. And the other part, if you're doing all those things and you still end up with dementia, man, I hate it for you, but let's just keep moving because you bought yourself some time. We couldn't keep it from happening, but boy, the quality of your life, and who you have involved in your life and how it's going, that idea of let's just quit waiting until we think for sure this is what it is and then start worrying about it. It's like, let's look at what we're doing in our lives right now, and can we bump things up a little bit? Could we look at ourselves as worth it? Are we worth it? Am I worth it? When I look in the mirror, do I go, I think I'm worth it today? Let's see, what should I do for me so that I'm a good me for tomorrow? I mean, like today and tomorrow are linked. And what do I want to do to make sure I got some good moments today so I can celebrate myself at the end of the day?
So let's just take research and put it on the shelf for now, because we know that,
Mm,
there's going to be some sorting out over the next couple of years.
mm.
So let's talk about some practical hands-on types of things. You're traveling again. Are you going to be all over the place like you used to was? Because people could catch up with you somewhere generally. What were you traveling, 250 days a year or something?
Yeah. Yeah,
Or
no, that's one of those things that has to change for a couple of reasons. Practicality wise, you can't get where you want to go like you used to be able to. And the second is, yeah, I'm getting a little older. So I am being a little more aware of where I want to put my energy and what it takes to do the travel these days, which is a lot more than it used to be, frankly. Bringing people together is a lot more challenging these days. I mean, it's still going to be a year or two, I think, before people are going to be comfortable coming together. And that could be actually a legitimate thing. But the other hand is people have gotten out of the habit of coming together. And so helping people get comfortable together again, we may start in dribs and drabs and figure out where to go from there. I mean, the plus is, in my usual fashion, I've trained other people. So I'm not just relying on me anymore. There are other people within our organization who do a great job of going out and helping people start their journey on understanding this thing we call dementia and what to do about it.
Teepa, thank you very much.
Thanks, Greg.
You've been listening to the Dementia Care Partners podcast, brought to you by Positive Approach to Care. And this month, we want to highlight our PAC designated communities. These are groups of people who are working hard to make a positive difference in the world of dementia care and support. If you're part of an organization or agency and are interested in becoming a PAC designated organization, contact us at 877-877-1671 or on the net, info@teepasnow.com.
Hi, I'm Teepa Snow, and you just found our YouTube channel and watched one of our videos. I'm the owner and founder of Positive Approach to Care. Thanks for watching, and if you have a comment about, or you would, please share it with people you know. Oh, and if you haven't yet done it, consider subscribing. We'll let you know when the next new video comes out. And you might want to visit our website, www.teepasnow.com, where you'll find other resources as well. See you there.